Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We would like to welcome you once again to the Diary of a Celestian Youth podcast, brought to you by the CITADEL of Celestians Youth. I know you've been wondering where we've been. You've missed our faces. Just to let you know, we've started off season 2, bigger and better. We do have loads planned for you for this season. So please do just bear with us and stick around with us. As normal, we will have our disclaimer placed. That has not changed. We are going to be sharing our views and our opinions. We won't be talking on anything doctrine related. So if you do have any questions relating to the doctrine, please take it up with an elderly member of your church. And we hope that you enjoy our topic today. So today, guys, as we know, before we get into today's topic, we normally introduce ourselves. I still remain Sister Aya.
Sister Naomi.
Brother Timmy.
And today we have somebody very special. We have a very special person. Introduce yourself.
Brother Benga.
Brother Benga, we say somebody very special. He's a very important member of our church, somebody who's very insightful and knowledgeable. So we are blessed and glad to have him here with us today. Thank you very much for joining us. So let's go straight in. So as we know, money can be such an uncomfortable conversation for us, not just as individuals, but also as Christians. It can be a topic that, causes us anxiety, that causes us worry, that, can also bring joy to us. And we see that Jesus Christ himself, he really takes his time to educate us and teach us about money. The basis of our conversation that we'll be having today will be based on the teaching to the disciples about money and possessions, which is found in Luke chapter 12 from verse 22 to 34. So whilst you're at home, you can take some time to read the Bible chapter, and we'll also have it displayed as well. And we'll be taking a lot of our discussion today from that topic and just explore why that topic was such an important thing for Jesus to teach his disciples about, and how that impacts us as well in our lives. Just to summarize, the Bible verse, Jesus is basically teaching the disciples, not to worry about the food that they're going to eat, the clothes that they're going to wear on their back, that if you place, your heart on the things of God, that God will surely provide for you. In essence, in a nutshell, that's what it's about. But you can say that's easier said than done, can't you?
Very well. Yeah. You can easily just rely on that and run with it.
Yeah, and not do anything. Based on what we've heard today and what we've read in our spare time, what does money mean to us as individuals? What does money mean to you?
Sister Nomi, can go on.
So to me, money, who doesn't love money? I work. So it comes down to, I've got responsibilities, I've got bills to pay type of thing. So I need to work for my money. It just depends on the level of love that I have for that money. That needs to be healthy to the point where it's not intoxicating, not taking me away from my priorities and my relationship with God.
Okay. Brother Timmy?
I completely agree with what Sister Naomi has said. But with that, money is just like another asset to me. It's just something that flows. You'll have it one day, next day. The money that I've spent is probably going to go to Naomi. So I don't want to say it's not important, but it's not like my main focus. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, well, you guys have said it all. Money itself, it's something that you must make sure you separate from yourself, because it's not only the currency. Money can come in spiritual side of things as well. You understand? So it's something that you earn from the service you have done, so that you can be able to acquire other things. So spiritual earnings also can be related or can be seen as money. You understand? So, but the one you might be referring to is the physical currency paper, in which if it devalues, then that means your work is as devalued, right?
Yeah.
So even though you said, okay, you work so hard to get this money, and the value will just go like that. So it's actually broad, but to keep it as small or with what we're trying to say, money is something that you need, you work for, you get to be able to afford the things that you want to do or you need to achieve in your life. so also don't let us all also forget that even apart from the paper, the coins, there is a spiritual currency.
Yeah, definitely. Money is an essential part of our lives. I don't see how we can, live, especially in today's society, without money. But at the same time, as Christians, should we be placing incredible value on money? I don't know if I should rephrase that question. Should our main focus be making money? Because I know I hear a phrase all the time that only keke in rere. Like money is basically like the what's keke in
I say the vehicle of evangelism.
Yeah, the vehicle of evangelism, which means money is so important. So let's say now, for example, we know money is important. There are people who have that mindset that money is so important that on a Sunday, when we know that it's time to come to church, they will rather go and pick up a shift, or they won't make the necessary allowances, for them not to work on a Sunday and be in church instead. What do we have, to say for that? Does that mean that their faith isn't as strong in God, or does it mean that they're prioritizing money more than anything else?
I think that's down to each individual, because everyone has their own responsibilities. And those who do pick, for example, I work Monday to Friday. But there are times when I want to do overtime because I know that money is a lot more than what I get during the week. So it's then up to me to figure out how to manage my time effectively to the point where I'm able to attend church on a Sunday and also make the money that I need to make and not let it affect either one of the two. But, everyone's situation is different.
Yeah, definitely everybody's situation.
And also we have to bear in mind that even though the Bible recognizes the fact that on the Sabbath you should rest to keep it holy. No, if we look at in those period, the Bible does not give us examples of maybe there is a physician that left the dying patient on Sabbath and did not work because you're not supposed to do something else or something unholy. So now, when it comes to work or working pattern, it has changed over the years. The kind of work we do now does not even exist then, and which are important to existence of many other things. And apart from that, if you look at work in itself, do you want to put everything in one basket? Or you want to have you want to segment work? Because even if you look at pastors and clergy, are they not working? They're getting paid, right? And they are here on Sunday to do their work. So it depends on the way you see work. The medicals, you understand, that help people. You understand? So if someone that needs to work and save a soul on Sunday has to go and work, you might not necessarily say that, or we might not necessarily say that it's because of the money. The nature of their work warrants that they are available to help out. So if we look at it very well, we might end up seeing that some people might not have a choice than to be out of church on Sunday just to work. But if you are able to, it's good to come. Because the Sabbath in itself, it's a very important thing. The Bible says that it helps you to unwind. You unplug yourself out of the social circle to be in the presence where you can receive spiritual teaching and all that. So
I think it also depends, as just to add on to what Sam said. Sorry.
That's okay.
I think it also depends on the nature of your job.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? Because have you said rightly, a doctor, a nurse, or someone working in the surgical clinic or unit, they're saving lives. They're doing good jobs. But cleaning, not to say cleaning is not a good job. We have to get to somewhere, start from somewhere to get to somewhere. But if it's a case of, okay, you want to quickly go clean one office rather than come to church, at the end of the day, that money may be twice as much. But what are you losing? As my thing is, one will always have to give. whether
Yes.
it's physical, whether it's spiritual. If you're making too much money, that means your spiritual life is lacking. If you're making too little money, that means your spiritual life is increasing. But then again, do you know what I mean? So one will have to give, but it's just, is it possible? My question then is it possible to find the balance in the two?
With what Naomi just said about like one having to give to the other, it brought to mind 1 Timothy 6, which says, those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. So how you're saying, you know, one has to give, like you said, when one is getting rich, we look at them as rich, but we don't actually know what's going on behind the doors. You're just seeing the money, whereas they could be battling many different things. That's why you're not seeing them in church, whereas that's where their faith has to come in, but they're looking at the money side.
Exactly. Because if you go out there to make so much money, or you intentionally does not want to, okay, in this country, you know, you earn more in the weekends, right? Which is a strategy to get people out of places like church, right? So if you put your mind to that, there might be so many portals that we can easily drain that money because of the fact, you know, we made it clear before that some people might need to be at work because of the nature of the job, it's a rota system and all that. If they have a right mind with God, that is understandable. But we are talking of a scenario here that you intentionally just let me just go and make few pounds and double pay, right? Or an hour and a half, like time and a half. Yes. So if that is your mindset, you just have to be careful because that money might not even make sense because you might be going to places that you do not expect. And spiritually, we have to understand that things like that can happen, especially if you have a calling upon your life, or God needs you for a service, or God wants you to help others in the house of God. You understand? Try your best to give that day, unplug yourself from the social queue, come into the presence of the Lord where you can get so much money. Do you know why I say that? An idea can be given to you during the hours of worship that can change your entire life, that can put you on that pedestal of, you know, instead of making money, you're actually creating wealth. So until we start to not underestimate the power of being in the presence of God, then our mindset might not change. Yeah,
because something you just said, you understand the power of not making money, but making wealth. And there's a big difference between making money and actually being wealthy. And I feel like for a lot of people, they've not tapped into that grace yet to understand that wealth is different from money. Because when you're making money, you're basically, for me, it's like you're working paycheck to paycheck. You know, you're just trying to make a living, not grow assets or grow.
You're working because of money.
Yeah, you're working because of money, and you're not really making that money work for you.
Yeah.
And if you look at, let's say, Solomon is the richest person in the Bible, but God didn't throw money at him. God gave him the knowledge to be able to acquire the wealth that he had. So if we as Christians are able to understand that the more that we spend in the presence of God, seeking his face, like you said, you don't know when an inspiration will come. You don't know when, you know, knowledge will come that, okay, go and do this. And that thing will actually be something that is generating, you know, wealth for you, as opposed to you just making money. So now that begs the question, do we feel like as Christians, are we seeking that knowledge on how to make our money work for us as opposed to how to work for money? Investment, planting, things like that.
That's a very interesting question. I think, like you've said, there's a very big distinction between money and wealth. A lot of people don't know about, you know, accumulating wealth. They don't know how to jump that ladder, how to start on that ladder to get to wealth. But then let's not forget, those who are wealthy, they had to put in a lot of work and make a lot of sacrifices.
Mm.
But then again, if the wealthy, let's say everyone worships God in their own way, they're at home, they're praying, they're fasting in their own time, but then they're constantly working. And the money they get, they've got it in their head that I want to use this money for this in the church. I want to give it to the church. I want to give it to the church. And they're working towards that. Should we then not necessarily condemn them for working every single Sunday?
Okay.
Because as you said, we get more money on the weekend. So if we're getting more money on the weekend, and in their minds, they have a goal of, okay, £1,000 by the end of the year, I want to give it to the church. Should we then say, okay, but you can't be working every Sunday?
Well, it's a scenario that you painted. Interesting scenario, which is possible, you know, given that it came to your mind. But I don't think, I wouldn't say it's right for, okay, you want to be the financier of the church, that you're giving money, and because of that, you want to just keep working. I wouldn't say it's a good mindset to have, because there is a difference between work and job. I think what we're actually talking about is actually job, like to earn money. Our work, as a Christian, I'm talking as a Christian, our work, or according to the Bible and our hymns, let us work for the profession of our soul. It actually has to do with the spiritual assignment that we have as individual. So now, relating back to what you said about that individual, the picture you painted. So that person is trying to, or she is trying to say that, okay, I'm not really concerned about my spiritual assignment. Well, you can say that if giving the money is a spiritual assignment in itself. However, what about the purpose of coming together is very important. Not only that, you learn, you encourage others, you network, and the so many other things that we receive for being in the presence of the Lord is, you cannot quantify it, even though you do not see it. So I wouldn't say that scenario is correct. Okay, I'm working and I'm giving money. That should be enough, you know.
But Naomi said something, and I feel like what she said was steering into the direction of that individual's faith and that individual's conviction. That for them, the way I understood it was that for that individual, it's not about physically coming to church on a Sunday. That person is doing, they're doing their daily devotion. They're still dedicating, a particular time, for God. They're praying and fasting.
It's just that they're not present
in church on a Sunday.
Service.
Is there? Can we say there's something wrong with that?
To some extent, you could. Well, I will.
That's interesting.
To some extent, the scenario might be possible. It's possible to get that kind of scenario. But to me personally, I think we should also strive to be present on Sabbath, on Sabbath day. Sabbath in itself, it's a different thing that if we clearly understand the Sabbath, the purpose, you understand why God rested. Or unplug himself from the creation of the world. And in Deuteronomy, why he instructed them to make sure Sabbath, you keep it away. He even told them in Deuteronomy that so that you can remember he who spoke and the word came to existence. It's supposed to be an environment where you've worked so hard, you are making money, but you need to unwind. Now God, not that you're reading Bible in your own home alone, but like a solitude or a place completely different from your daily. So for me, I still believe that Sunday, even though you're giving so much to the church, you should still try to be available.
So from what CM said, what I've got from that is, you know how we pay tithe, and tithe is 10% of our earnings, but I don't know if it's a personal thing to me. Like the 10% of the earnings isn't just the money you make to me. It's like 10% of my time during the week as well. So say like some of us just come to church on Sunday that's okay for some people, but like other people, Sunday alone is not enough. Like for your worship, like if you can do 10% of your money, you should do like 10% of your time as well towards the church. Like what you can do, because it's not just the money. Because that's when, say when me personally, if I don't come to church for a while, you start to feel like your spirit is drawing away. There's a part of you that's missing. So then when you come back, even just that one Sunday that I come, it still doesn't feel like enough. So that's
your spiritual duties.
It dwindles. And I think even in terms of, like, as I've got, you know, similar belief to Timmy in terms of giving 10% of your time, you know, and we've mentioned, you know, God resting on the Sabbath and the importance of just having that time to unwind. If you look at the structure of our lives in the way it is now, like things are so busy. Like imagine even if like you're a parent, you're from Monday all the way to, you know, like Saturday, you're so busy, you're so consumed. It's not about, I don't want anybody to get it confused that, you know, we're advocating that the only way that you can prove your faith is by coming to church on a Sunday. But I think by actually being physically in this building, you're also rendering a service to God. It's about the service and the work that you're doing for God. You know, you've spent Monday to Saturday working for other people. This is the one time that, you know, you should give it back, keep it aside. Don't let anything else, you know, contaminate that space, contaminate that environment. You're literally going to resume back on Monday
exactly
to the things that you were doing before.
And given the denomination that we are, you know, the tabernacle kind of worship that we do, you know, bowing down and all those kind of things that might be much more than other Christians. So it kind of gives you more reason to try your best to be available. I know it's not only Sunday that we've been instructed to be in church. We're talking about Wednesday, talking about Friday, but we're just using Sunday now just as the point of reference. You know, the tabernacle kind of worship that is it tabernacle I wanted to say?
Tabernacle, like altar.
Yes, there's a particular word I wanted to say, but never mind. I know you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So, it's important because we have an act to our worship. We have a mode to our worship, and you might not necessarily do that or do it well when you are home. You understand? So even though you are the financier of the church or you're making so much money, you're giving so much to the church, that spiritual side of things being available also it's as important as the money you're giving.
Can I just add to since we're talking about not working on the Sabbath day, I just want to throw a quick spanner in the works here. In the New Testament, in various different books of the New Testament, it talks about how Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Jesus was working on the Sabbath after he was done teaching. And then he said to the disciples, should I not work? Should I not help these people? So at that point, is obviously some people, it's just down to conception, to everybody's perception of what they read. At that point, Jesus still works on the Sabbath.
According to the Pharisees, he still works.
I think I remember I think Matthew 12, where they were trying to condemn him. Why are you doing all these miracles? And I think he asked a question that if your dog fell into well on that, would you not try to, you understand? So, and it boils down to understanding and perception. Even actually walking, I remember clearly that keep the Sabbath holy. You understand? Holy, not like not walk or do anything at all. How do you define that? Or you understand? So I don't want us to, I will not try to box myself in a box that you should not work on Sunday at all. Because you understand, if you need to, in terms of your work pattern or the importance of your work, we have some denomination that pay people to in music department church. They are working. That's the work. You understand? So you understand what I'm saying? So how do you now clear that out.
But now that you said that, sorry, I'm not trying to. Now that you said that people working in the church alone, they also getting paid.
Exactly.
Is that right?
If that's their work, I
they're
believe
working on the Sabbath.
That's exactly where I'm going. You understand?
And they're still getting paid. They're still getting cash, not even transfer, cash in hand on the Sabbath.
What's the matter with it? Cash and transfer? Is that different? That is interesting.
Yeah.
What's the matter with it? Cash and transfer?
That's different.
Really?
I
Oh,
think
wow.
where we're going with all of this is literally, where does our heart lie? Let's actually be very clear and very honest with ourselves. Are we, using this Sabbath? Some people might be using the Sabbath as a way to compensate for the lack of relationship with God.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And say, okay, Monday to Saturday, I'm never gonna open my Bible. Let me not even touch it because I'm gonna keep the Sabbath day holy. But our relationship with God isn't, down to just one day. The Bible tells us that we don't know when, the homeowner is going to come. It will come like a thief in the night.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an excuse not to do the things that you do or that you should do. Excuse me. So Sunday is not the only time to read Bible or to keep it holy. You understand? You cannot be a monster Monday to Friday or
I'll come on
Sunday
holy.
You are keeping it holy because it's Sabbath.
Yeah.
No, that is completely wrong.
Yeah. So where should our hearts be? Literally, where should our faith lie? Should we, because for some people, you think about it, some people will be praying for something, right? They'll be praying. During that time when they're needing that thing, let's say it's a job, let's say a job. And as soon as they get that thing that they've been praying for, you see that they just completely draw back because they've received what it is that they're asking God for. Now, are we using God as a genie for money? Money, everything money.
You rub the genie.
You rub
the genie,
you rub them the right way. As soon as you get your answer, you fall back. That again goes to our heart. What importance are we placing on our faith? What importance are we placing on our relationship with God and our walk with Christ in comparison to our needs? Because if in Luke 12:22, it's telling us not to be worried about what we're going to eat, what we're going to drink, the clothes on our back, that the ravens are not planting anything. The raven isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But God provides for them. Should that not be comfort enough for us as Christians to know that even when I'm at my poorest and I'm at my lowest, I don't need money, for me to be able to show that God is doing something in my life, because regardless of my circumstances, God will provide for me.
I think there's a misconception with what you've just said.
Okay.
Because it reminds me of the tale of the man who was drowning and then prayed to God, come and save me, come and save me, come and save me. And God sent three different things. God sent, I don't know, someone who was on the boat, and two other opportunities for this man to be saved. But it was like, no, I want God to come and save. You want God themselves to come down and save.
But you've not
God provides opportunities. For example, if someone's praying for a job and somebody else in the church is like, okay, I've got this job opportunity. It's on a Sunday. That's the only day. But it's 4 hours every Sunday and you'll get £70. Will you do it?
Is that a question to me?
No.
She loves scenario.
It's the opportunity. You pray for the opportunity. God has given you opportunity. If you then decline that opportunity, are you declining that what God can do?
Sorry, let me put the spell into the work of that. They say when we're praying, it's not only God that hears our prayers.
Yeah, it's not.
I know, I understand.
The devil is listening to our prayers, and what if that job is like an enticement? Why will it be the only day that I'm coming to church? That's the day that God. I don't think God will operate like that. Sorry, that's my personal opinion. I don't think God would, give me something that would take me away from my worship or my service to Him.
If you're being offered, can you not negotiate or talk about it?
That's what I'm saying. At that point, it's then down to the person. To negotiate the time with that.
And if you're making known that I do go to church.
Exactly.
Yes.
Maybe they can change
For
it.
religious beliefs, a lot of company will alter your working pattern.
Thank you. Not a lot of people know religious beliefs.
Real.
Not a lot of people know this. And I taught my brother this when he started working, because as soon as I got my first job, my mom was like, when you get there, tell them you're not working on a Sunday. And I was like, what do you mean tell them I'm not working on a Sunday? She's like, as soon as you get there, tell them you're not working on a Sunday. And I got there and they were like, oh, is there any days that you're not able to work? And I said, Sunday. Why Sunday? You know, weekends are our busiest time. So because I go to church. And nobody ever argued with me on that point, ever. They literally never argued with me. Because obviously we live in a country where they're going to respect your rights, your religious beliefs and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's about having the knowledge that, you know, you are actually able to negotiate your Sundays, it's not a be all or end all of anything. It's a negotiating point.
Yeah, even if, so when you say they can, even if they need you, compulsorily they can
Make allowances.
You do 2 in a month, you know, things like that, or you come late, or but it's always good to talk to let them know that because of work, because of church, I don't work at all on Sunday. If it's important, then you know you can talk about it.
Yeah,
and that helps you to make money and to do your special assignments at the same time.
Yeah.
Now that is good. Now, I think the picture you were painting is people that we intentionally go to work after they've done their shifts. You understand? They work Monday to Friday, and they now saw another opportunity.
Yeah.
To take another day on Sunday. That is the bone of contention. You understand?
That wasn't enough. Yeah.
Yes, that is the one that. It is down to that person where that person is faith-wise.
Yeah.
Like, what is more important? What is important? Is my worship or is my congregation on Sunday important to me? If it is important, they might not take that, or they will not ask for it, given the fact that they work Monday to Friday.
You're not just call that money anxiety. Like, you're just so anxious about money. But when do you stop being anxious about money?
Yeah, you see your friend you see your friend with new range, you know, you want to save up and get your own range, you know.
Furthermore, when, let's say, during church, if harvest is coming up, and we all know, everyone's going to be doing overtime for harvest. Because you need to buy pasta.
That's interesting.
That's a very interesting take. But I do think there is we are able to strike a balance if we really want to. I think it's about the state of your heart and your personal conviction, you know, that you have with God to be able to.
And if you truly believe that you get blessed when you come, spiritual blessings, comfort, healing. If you truly believe it, that God actually healed, or give you spiritual blessing and money when you come, you will take it serious.
100%, yeah. And obviously, like we've gone through many different scenarios in today's topic. So at no point are we saying, you know, you must absolutely not work on a Sunday. You know, we've given exceptions that, you know, that there are circumstances that are gonna, you know, require you, you know, to work. But really and truly, where we're going is where does examine your faith, basically. Examine your faith. Make sure that you're actually, you know, in alignment, you know, with God. Don't use the Sabbath as an excuse for a lack of relationship with God. At the end of the day, search your heart. Make sure that, you know, you actually have a relationship with God, and do everything that will cultivate a good relationship with God, so that you can get both the spiritual rewards as well as the monetary rewards. And that way, there'll be no money anxiety. But yeah, that's a conclusion that, you know, I think, is that a fair conclusion to make? Is that fair?
Yeah.
It's a fair conclusion to make.
Yeah, you always have to examine yourself, where your heart. Your heart, make the decision, make sure Holy Spirit directs you.
And I'll say on that note, then, thank you very much for watching our podcast. You know, I'm pretty sure if you've got any comments, please comment. We want to see what your thought is. We want to take your opinions. And also feel free to DM us on all our social media networks, which will be tagged at the bottom of our video. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.